Hey everybody, I'm Dan. Welcome back to the Rock Nerd Radio Show. I'm so excited because I finally got to complete my 90s X Factor team with the addition of the latest Wolfsbane release. Very excited for this figure. She's not perfect, but she's pretty good. So let's take a look and see what I think.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
So as I said, we are going to be reviewing Wolfsbane, and I'm just going to get the accessories out of the way real quick, because aside from the Zabu Build-A-Figure piece, which is the torso, it is the largest part of Zabu, the only other thing that Wolfsbane comes with are two fists. And you can see them right here. Now, they are nicely detailed in that, like, they are carrying on that, you know, like, clawed hand. You can see the thumb there still has the claws. But, you know, I don't picture having this wolf character, wolf-esque character with fists. I'd rather have the opened, you know, kind of clawed hands ready to go. So that's probably what I'm going to always be displaying her with. Bringing her in close to the camera, we have a decent head. One area in which I think they could have improved upon on this figure is the head. And I'm not going to sit here and say the head is bad. I think it looks okay. But I would have liked an alternate head where she's maybe a little less wolfed up, you know. In the 90s X Factor, I definitely remember Wolfsbane kind of having, you know, not always being in wolf form, sometimes being like more humanoid with like red hair and, you know, just like a brownish wolf human face, but like the hair not as extreme and stuff. It looks fine, and for the most part, it's what you need it to look like. I do think it's not the best representation of the character. I will say that. I don't really mind the fur color. I know a lot of people have been online saying she looks a little too orange, but it looks okay. But looking at the rest of the figure, we have a very cool X Factor symbol there on her chest, slightly off center, and it has the white behind the red, so I do like that, as well as the black circle and black outline on there. You can see the little, I guess, zipper to the costume. Of course, the blue collar and the shoulder pads. The blue continues down here on the sides. Looks good on the back as well. Collar piece molded and sculpted very nice. We have this belt with the 3 buckles on here. It was the 90s. It was all about excessive belts. Why not? But then looking at the arms, you know, they are sculpted very nice with the fur. It's not going to surprise me if we get other furry character. I don't want to say furry characters, but characters with fur on, you know, with legs and arms like this, namely like Wolfsbane or Hepzibah. I could see that happening. And of course, looking at the legs, you know, there's that tuft of fur there on the legs. You know, just the fur all up and down looks really good. And like even the knee, like, it's not just a flat knee piece. There is definitely that sculpting to it as well. So I do appreciate that. One thing that kind of bothers me, these feet are tiny, and yes, you know, they do have the claws, the nails on them, but like they're so small they don't even have peg holes on them. Like just compared to the rest of the figure, I feel like her feet are just very, very tiny. So yeah, a couple of minor nitpicks, but overall I think she's pretty good. Getting into articulation on the figure, her head is on a ball joint, so of course you can rotate it way back and maybe have her kind of like in a hunting position. She might be running after something. She can look way down as well. And then, of course, up. Because it's a ball joint, obviously the head's going to rotate and wiggle and such all around. I think it, you know, it looks pretty good. In terms of arm movement, the arms do go all the way around because this is, you know, it's able to get around the shoulder pads. They go out that far. We have rotation. We have double jointed pinless elbows, which don't really look like Inhuman when you bend her arm. She looks, you know, somewhat okay. Hands, of course, rotate, and you can have the, you know, the articulation you'd expect with like a claw type hand. At the waist, we have the waist movement. She can, I don't know, dance, whatever you want to call this, but nothing else. Although this does rotate, as I said, it kind of breaks up the costume look, but it you know, I don't think it looks bad. It's pretty much what I would need for the character. I think the biggest articulation bone to pick that I have is here with the legs. Because of the sculpted fur and the way the body is cut, we're only raising the legs about that much. You know, it's not as acrobatic as I maybe would have liked to have seen. They only go out about that much. So, not my favorite thing, but twist at the thigh, fully around. We do have double jointed pinless knee. And of course at the foot, they go up and down, back and forth, and rocker ankle as well. So you can get her into some decent poses. In fact, if I want to kind of bend her up, get her into maybe a hunting type pose, I could do something like that. There we go. She does stand pretty well despite having really small feet, which I kind of already complained about. But she's technically the second Wolfsbane figure we've ever gotten. The other one came from a Walgreens exclusive. It was on a Danny Moonstone body that just happened to have some Wolfsbane parts. So I'm going to pull that down for you real quick. So bringing in that Wolfsbane, here is the Walgreens one that was on the Moonstone body. In the New Mutants costume, we got a look like this. Was it during the Zeb Wells run of New Mutants? And this one, kind of more brown than orange, as you can tell. The head's not terrible, if I bring it a little closer. A little more of that humanoid wolf, not quite full wolf mode. Kind of still has the hair swooping back, but not as pronounced as this one. And I believe these hands are the same. Actually, I take that back. I don't think these are the same hands. I think these are different hands. So there we go. A decent way to get a Wolfsbane up until we had one. Of course, a lot of people wanted Wolfsbane to match X Factor, and this was not the Wolfsbane that I had hanging out with my X Factor. She was hanging out with my New Mutants. This was the Wolfsbane I had hanging out in my X Factor, and this was basically a kit bash, little bit of some custom paint going on here. This was an extra Polaris body that I had. I believe the arms came from a Storm figure. The head and the claws came from an extra Danny Moonstone that I had. And the fur boots, I want to say I got from a Black Cat that I did paint brown. So to kind of show that, that wolf part to her. Still had the yellow feet, though, so that kind of stuck out. And actually, if you've ever watched his Spectre Creative YouTube channel, he took a picture he did a video about people trying to complete teams. And he took a picture of this Wolfsbane that I put on Instagram and highlighted it in his video. And questioned why some of the things were made the way they were, and questioned why characters were missing in the photo. And I was very happy to comment that it was because when that photo was taken, we didn't have all the characters yet. So anyway, I digress. I'm going off the rails here. But yeah, this is what I was using in my display for quite some time. She's not perfect, but she did work for a while. I'll probably be retiring that custom and maybe putting some of those pieces back together. I'm going to pull down the other Wolfsbane and let's get some members of X Factor in here so you can see how she compares with them. One thing that I did forget to mention before I pull out any other characters is that her joints are a little gummy. I don't know if it's just the version that I have, but it seems like this entire wave, a lot of the characters, the plastic is a little softer than what you're maybe used to at Marvel Legends, so things feel a little gummy. She stands and poses okay, but there's definitely that bit of softness to some of her joints. So just to bring in some other characters, here is the Multiple Man, Jamie Madrox, standing there. This version doesn't have any of the head stuff on. I don't want to call it a mask, but whatever you call it. After that, let's see how she looks with the team leader of the group. Here is Havoc. And why don't we bring in another female from the team? Here is Polaris as well. So there we go. A little bit of X Factor. Of course, you need Strong Guy, Quicksilver, Forge, maybe some more Multiple Men, and Random, if you were so inclined, to really fill out this era of the team. I do have all of them. I just didn't want to take them all down off my shelf because it means a lot of rearranging. So overall, they look pretty good together. I'm very happy to complete this 90s look of X Factor. It's honestly one of my favorite eras of X Factor. I do have every issue of X Factor from when this team takes over to present. So I kind of picked up. I might go back and try to get all the original X Factor stuff, but we'll see. There are some pricey issues in there. I do have the first appearance of Apocalypse, though. That one makes me very happy. Anyway, I digress. Overall, pretty solid. Glad to have this. It wouldn't surprise me if Hasbro listens to some fan feedback and eventually we get maybe a more brown in color Wolfsbane, maybe in a 2-pack with Feral, because we really need Feral. We also really need Rachel Summers Phoenix to really complete those 90s kind of X-Men teams. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, what do you think of this Wolfsbane? Are you buying her? Are you staying away from her? Do you think she's ugly? Do you think she's beautiful? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear it. And until next time, I've been Dan. You've all been pretty awesome. I'll see you around. Well, there we go. What did you think of this video? Sound off in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Remember, we are making a push to get to 700 subscribers here on the channel. If we do that before the HasLab Giant Man arrives, I will be giving away the old Toy Biz Giant Man Build-A-Figure that you've seen on my shelf and things like that. So hit subscribe, leave a comment, hit like if you're so inclined, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Come geek out with us.